The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Zethkri of the Veltar Confederation slammed his crystalline appendage against the podium. His bioluminescent patches flared with indignation, casting eerie shadows across the assembled representatives of 47 civilized species. "The humans have done it again," he screeched, his translator struggling to convey the full extent of his outrage. Without consultation, without permission, without even the courtesy of a diplomatic communiqué. Ambassador Chen Wei sat motionless in the human delegation section, her expression carefully neutral. Around the semicircular chamber, dozens of alien eyes, sensors, and consciousness detection organs focused on her with varying degrees of hostility, curiosity, and what humans might have recognized as exasperation. "Please specify your grievance, Ambassador Zethkri," rumbled Counselor Vorthak, the ancient keeper of protocols. The massive rock-like being's voice resonated through both audible and subspace frequencies. 3 standard cycles ago," Zethkri continued, his voice climbing to frequencies that made several species wince, "a human exploration vessel encountered our mining operation in the Kepler 442 system. Standard protocol dictates that any interference with established operations requires council oversight and a minimum 47-day deliberation period." "And what did they do?" asked Counselor Vorthak, though his tone suggested he already knew the answer. "They didn't ask." Zethkri's patches now pulsed like an angry beacon. "Our workers were trapped in a collapsed shaft after an unexpected seismic event. The humans just acted. They diverted their course, deployed their mining equipment, and began digging. No permission, no forms filed. They violated 17 different protocols." A murmur rippled through the chamber. The fish-like aquarians bubbled nervously. The insectoid hive minds clicked their approval or disapproval. It was impossible to tell which. The energy beings of Rigel simply flickered faster. Ambassador Chen finally stood, her movement causing an immediate hush. At 1.7 meters tall, she was dwarfed by most of the assembled beings. Yet something about human presence always commanded attention. "Counselor Vorthak," she said, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber's acoustics. "I believe there's been a misunderstanding." "Explain," the ancient being commanded. Chen looked directly at Zethkri.
"How many miners did we save?"
The Veltar ambassador's patches dimmed slightly. That's not the point. The point is, how many?" Chen repeated, her tone unchanged but somehow more forceful. 43, Zethkri admitted reluctantly. "But the protocols exist for a reason. What if your intervention had caused more damage? What if your equipment had been incompatible with our technology? What if we had filled out forms for 47 days while your people died?" Chen interrupted. The chamber erupted in chaos. Half the species began arguing in their native languages while their translators struggled to keep up. The other half sat in stunned silence. Interruption was considered deeply impolite in most galactic cultures. Counselor Vorthak's massive form shifted, creating subsonic vibrations that gradually restored order. "The human raises an interesting point," he said slowly. "However, protocols exist to prevent chaos. Imagine if every species simply acted on their own initiative." "With respect, Counselor," Chen replied. "That's exactly what we do imagine. Every day. It's what makes us human." She activated her personal holographic display, showing the rescue operation from the human ship's perspective. The assembled beings watched as tiny human figures in environment suits worked alongside massive excavation robots, racing against time as atmospheric readings showed dangerous gas buildups in the collapsed mine. "While you debate protocols, people die," Chen continued. "While you file forms, disasters grow worse. While you seek permissions, opportunities to help slip away." She paused, looking around the chamber. Humans don't ask for consent to save lives because lives don't wait for bureaucracy. Ambassador Yathala of the Epsilon Eridani Collective rose gracefully, her jellyfish-like form undulating as she spoke. "But surely you understand the chaos that would result if every species acted without oversight? The potential for conflicts, for misunderstandings?" "We do understand," Chen nodded. "We also understand the cost of inaction. You want to know what makes humans dangerous? It's not our weapons or our technology. It's that we refuse to be bystanders to suffering while proper procedures are followed." The crystalline being representing the silicon-based mechanoids chimed in with harmonic tones. "Your species consistently demonstrates this pattern. In the Proxima incident, Human vessels engaged unknown attackers without waiting for Council military authorization. To protect a civilian convoy carrying refugees from 3 different species, Chen replied immediately. In the Vega situation, humans established colonies without territorial clearance, added the methane-breathing representative from Titan. On worlds that were perfect for the displaced populations of the Andorian plague, while the Council debated territorial rights for 6 months. At Betelgeuse, began another delegate. Humans contained a stellar instability that threatened 4 populated systems. Chen finished. Are we seeing a pattern here? Councillor Vorthek's ancient consciousness contemplated this exchange. In his millions of years of existence, he had seen countless species rise and fall. Most fell because they became too careful, too concerned with protocol over action, too civilized to take necessary risks. Ambassador Chen, he said finally, your species presents the Council with a unique challenge. You consistently violate our procedures while achieving outcomes most species would consider morally imperative. Then maybe, Chen said quietly, the procedures need to change. The chamber fell silent again. It was Ambassador Zethkri who finally spoke, his bioluminescent patches now cycling through colors that indicated deep contemplation rather than anger. The humans saved 43 of our people, he said slowly, including my spawn sibling. They worked for 18 continuous hours in toxic atmosphere without rest. They asked for nothing in return. He looked directly at Chen. Perhaps some actions transcend protocols. As murmurs of agreement began to spread through the chamber, Chen allowed herself a small smile. Humans didn't ask for consent because consent could be denied, delayed, or debated to death. Sometimes the right thing to do was simply the right thing to do, and that, she realized, was both humanity's greatest weakness and its most powerful strength. The vote to establish the emergency action, protocols allowing any species to act, without prior authorization in life-threatening situations passed by unanimous consent. Ironically, it was the one time the humans had actually asked for permission first.